ass is gonna be quiet till your skink ass quit. Oh, mommy, you let the bad man hurt us. Fuck you. We're gonna whoop your mama's ass. Whoa!
I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me that Gears of War 2 had the best campaign in the series, and after playing it 3 times, I can definitely see why. It is a massive step up from Gears 1, and it is the most action-packed of them all. But let's go over and see how and why that is. Gears 2 was the Unreal Engine 3 game of 2008. The world of Sur has improved colors as opposed to, well, everything being black and gray in Gears 1. And you still see all the guts and glory we love with better graphics than the original. It's more immersive than before thanks to the improvements made to UE3, and it is beautiful as always. Sure, it may not stand up to Gears 3, 4, and 5, but as always, it is a technical marvel upon its release, and it still looks pretty good to this day, especially on Xbox One X. The gameplay is more of the same as in the previous game. You duck, cover, and shoot. That's all you do. But with the limited amount of things Epic could do with it, they somehow managed to spice things up a lot more than they did in Gears 1, starting with the enemy types. One of my biggest complaints from the last game was the lack of enemy variety in it, and it was somewhat boring fighting the same enemy types over and over again. That is no longer an issue here, since with the addition to almost all the enemies from the previous game, there are a ton of new ones as well. For example, you now have drones who wield lancers, and that is really cool from a story perspective. We also have flame grenadiers who obviously wield flamethrowers, and a really cool way to kill them is to shoot their gas tank and they'll just explode into a million pieces. We also get the candidates that are essentially the medics of the Locust Horde, as they can revive down Locust drones. There are 3 new boomer types that are the grinder that shoots a giant minigun, the flame boomer, which is similar to the flame grenadier except it's a boomer now, and a butcher that wields a giant cleaver. They aren't any Lambent wretches this time around, but we do get to meet the tickers that work like Lambent wretches, except they just run up to you and explode on their death. There are a couple of new weapons and some changes to the old ones. The Hammerburst is no longer a 3-round burst weapon, but instead a semi-auto that excels in long range. The Gorgon pistol replaces it as the burst weapon of the game, but due to its low power on Insane, it is very underwhelming to use and should serve as an emergency if you run out of Lancer ammo. The ink grenades serve as an aerial denial tool, and the flamethrower is just, well, you guessed it. You could just torch enemies with it, and it feels good to let the enemy know to feel the burn. This campaign has the coolest moments in all the games, partly because they broke the formula of hunkering down and cover so many times in a very neat fashion, such as the Centaur portion of the game, for instance. It's a whole lot better than the Krill section in Gears 1, and it shows. Sure, the driving mechanics are still a bit wonky, but it's fun as hell just blowing up a bunch of drones, boomers, and reavers along the way. As, well, you're driving around in a tank, and it is always fun to blow things up while driving in a tank. The Reaver section of the game also is a nice touch as well. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just fun as hell just riding around one of those things, just blowing other Reavers up with the minigun and the missiles. The best part of the game is best saved for last during the end, where you and Dom control a Brumok and just rain hell upon everything you see. They're like ants from where you're standing, and you're just borderline unstoppable. So much fun just controlling the most powerful beast of the Locust Horde. There's even a fight where where you encounter a corpse and you have to mash B in order to fight it. Sort of reminds me of one of those Godzilla monster movies. There's also a deleted scene DLC where after Maria's death, you either go in guns blazing or you put on the silliest getup I've ever seen until the color blast skins in Gears 4. Was it really stealth though? No, but at least they tried. So kudos to them for experimenting with quote-unquote stealth mechanics in a game like Gears. Luckily, TC improved upon this with the rejects in Gears 5. Nothing really amazing here, but an interesting take of stealth in Gears of War. There's barely 3 boss fights, but 2 of them are more than enough to make up for the small number of them. They're both pretty challenging too, and far more enjoyable than in Gears 1. For example, in the Leviathan boss fight, you have to chainsaw its tentacles, and then you have to go inside its mouth to lob grenades inside its other mouth, I guess. Then the Scourge boss fight keeps you on your toes by tossing ink grenades, sending in tickers, and cutting down the big ass pillars. My only complaint about it is how it's slightly annoying on Insane, due to how fast he kills you in a handful of shots due to his Gorgon grenade, and that's about it. Let's talk about the story next, since it's a lot better than in Gears 1. The story begins roughly 6 months after the first game, and Sarah has gone down the shitter, which is into being the last safe haven on the planet Sarah. It is up to Marcus, Dom, and the rest of the COG to save it until it is too late. It's pretty basic, but in later parts of the game it gets pretty interesting. Marcus is still this same old grumpy stoic leader he became to love from Gears 1, but Dom has the most significant change here. Remember that lady Franklin mentioned in Gears 1?
Hey, Santiago, what you doing here? No news on the lady, man. I'll tell you if I heard anything.
Yeah, me neither, but now she is the primary motivation as to why Dom is even fighting in the first place, and why he gets into massive mood swings over and over again.
What'd you find?
I...
Tell me, Anya. Don't bullshit me.
The Jane Doe I mentioned? She fits the description, but... Well, looks like she was released a few days ago. We don't have any info after that.
There's gotta be another lead or something, right?
I'm sorry, Dom. That's it. I'm sorry.
Damn it! Not again! I've lost her again! Ah! God damn it!
Copy that, Anya. Delta out. Dom, you okay?
Just... I'll catch up with you in a sec, Marcus. All right?
Yeah. Whatever you need. Guys, let's go.
Her role may not be the most important, but if you read Astrofields, it is quite the contrary, as she gave him a family and then just disappeared out of nowhere shortly after E-Day, when the kids died. It's been over 15 years since he last seen her, and something like that will have a massive psychological effect on somebody, especially if they're already fighting in military combat. So I'm glad that Epic gave Dom an interesting character arc this time around.
Jack, open it up. I can't believe it, Marcus. We finally found her. Maria. Maria.
Dom.
No, no, no. No, baby. No, 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 no. What did they do to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I tried to find you. God, I did. Please, no. Maria. God damn it, it's me, Dominic. It's Dominic. Marcus, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man.
No. It's okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I love you so much.
I'm sorry about Maria, but she's in a better place now. You did what you had to do. I found a way to sneak into Nexus, but if you want to go in guns blazing, I don't blame you.
I want to kill them all.
Alongside Bear, Cole, and Anya, there are other new side characters like Ty, who is built like a badass Islander warrior, and looks the part too. Just walks out of a burning rig like it was nothing.
Marcus, is that Ty?
Yeah, told you he was tough to kill. Let's get down there, Gears.
But unfortunately in Act 3, I believe, the Locust broke him and turned into a suicidal potato within the same day. Says a lot about the Locust's new brutal tactics.
Marcus, we got more locusts on the way.
Ty, let's go! Cole, Bear, cover that door. Carmine, Dom, guard the rear. Ty! No! I told you, they're breaking people. I can hear them screaming from the docks.
I can't believe they did that to Ty. He survives everything, doesn't he?
Let's just get the hell out of here.
You then have the youngest Carmine, Benjamin Carmine, and I honestly do believe he's the most interesting of the Carmine family. Sure, Clayton and Lizzie are the most badass ones, but Ben's green as grass personality is what gets me every time. Instead of being a complete fucking retard, he is more so ignorant and neutral of this than anything. It's pretty entertaining to watch, though I can't really say which one is sadder. The way he died or how he'd even get to finish his sentence beforehand.
It's Carmine!
I hurt, Sarge. I tell my brothers and my mom. Tell them I love them. And
There's also an abandoned facility called the New Hope facility where the Sirens are located, and apparently they were supposed to be the first generation of Locusts, if I remember correctly. Something went wrong in there and it was forced to be shut down by the COG. Pretty eerie and suspicious in retrospect. But a origin is better than having no origin at all. There's more details about them in the novels and in Gears 5, but I'll be going over that later. Speaking of the Locusts, now they're a lot more interesting this time around than last time. Before, all we knew that was of any significance was that they came from deep underground, and they have a ton of tunnels that must be connected to something. Now we know those tunnels are connected to Locust cities that eventually lead to Nexus, some kind of Locust capital like Washington, D.C. The Lambent Locusts are also make an appearance here, as they are quite similar to Lambent Wretches. These type of Locusts have been exposed to so much emotion for so long that they began to mutate and attack their Locust brethren. Sounds familiar, don't you think? Anyway, at least we now know why the Locusts are in Get Out of the Hollow ASAP and try to invade the surface. And then we meet the queen of the Locusts, and she just so happens to be human and has gray skin for whatever reason. I'm sure there must be some explanation for all this, but for now it'll be a complete mystery. It's not the best story in the world, but it's a whole lot better than in Gears 1 due to how much new information is out now. And speaking of information, the collectibles are a lot more meaningful now than in Gears 1. Gears 1 collectibles were just cog tags. No names, no letter, nothing. They were just there for achievement hunters. Now in Gears 2, the collectibles are much more lore related and give much more insight about the Gears of War universe. For example, apparently the Locusts worship worms, as evident by how many worms related things there are, such as a scroll made of human skin talking about worms, a trinity of worms. And the cog tags are back, but here they give a bit of a backstory to those who died. Even Benjamin, of course, which is pretty damn sad. So that's it for Gears 2's campaign. I hope you all enjoyed this trip down memory lane, but soon we'll reach the end of the road when we dive into Gears of War 3. Catch y'all later.